Hello and welcome back to Football Manager 2017. This is the penultimate video in this series. There are no more games. The season is over. If you haven't seen the end of the season, the final episode, please go and watch it. It is the last episode. It's episode 58. And it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever actually seen in Football Manager. So yeah, please go watch that if you haven't seen, because there's going to be some very big spoilers in this. So yeah, go over there first. My plan for this episode is to just go through some of the players, and I'm not talking about the main players. I'm talking about some of the more fringe players. Someone like, I don't know, let's say Fabrice Koulibaly here. Have a look at how good he is. He, actually, I haven't seen him for a very long time, he's actually a very good player. So I'm going to go through some of the youth players that I bought, show you how well they've progressed, because some of them are actually ridiculous now compared to probably the last time you actually saw them. We're going to start with the goalkeepers, and who else but Kwadwo Kone, our number one goalkeeper for about 2.5 years, I think, in the end. He's still not the finished article. He's only 22 years old. He's got a lot of room to grow. He's worth £25.5 million. He's got a UEFA Super Cup medal, EFL Cup medal, UEFA Champions League medal. I think, in terms of goalkeepers, we could have got better than him. We could have quite easily got better than him. But if we were to play this season, or this career, for a few more years, maybe 3-4 years, he will become a world-class, one of the best goalkeepers in the game. Next on the list, our number 2 goalkeeper, Atanas Spasov. Again, much like Kwadwo Kone, he's not that great. He could be better, but he is only 19, so he's a lot younger than Kone as well. He's still a very good goalkeeper. Again, by the time he's 25... he could be a world-class goalkeeper. Potential ability-wise, it doesn't say that he will be, but I still think he will be a Premiership standard keeper for the majority of his career. Now, some of the more obscure ones. Christian Guilen, who I don't think we ever actually played. He's alright, he's 21. I think he's one of those players he's got a bit lost in the shuffle. He's not bad. I'd say you'd probably be happy playing him at a Championship level with his current ability, if he goes up to his potential ability, which, if he gets games, he will be, once again, a very good goalkeeper. Adama Diallo is one of those players where he looks alright, but I think he's not going to get any better than maybe a Championship standard goalkeeper. So I'd say on him, he was a bit of a miss. Maybe that was down to the fact that I haven't played him for a long time. I bought him in 2018, it's now 2021, and he's played one game for me. Adama Fofana, who is a player he's been here, a year? A whole season. Basically, all he's got is eccentricity. He's another Ivorian goalkeeper. He actually has 2 caps for the Ivory Coast, which is quite good. He, once again, needs to get games. So when I leave this club, hopefully he gets sent out on loan or sold or something like that, and then Adama Fofana could become a decent player. The final goalkeeper I want to show you is actually the guy that I bought in January. Arnaldo Gouveia. He's good. He is very good. He's actually on loan at Braga at the moment. He's a very good goalkeeper. I think, in reality, he's probably the number 2 keeper behind Kone, but he's probably not far off Kone's ability. That's going to do it for goalkeepers. Let's move on to defenders. And let's start with the best, shall we? Craig Bracamontes, 24-year-old American centre-back. He can actually play anywhere along the back. And just look at how good he is as a defender. 5-star ability, worth £54 million, paid £200,000 a week. But I think it's worth it. I really do think it's worth it. He is, without a doubt, one of the stars of this save. Next up, German Storico, 22-year-old Argentine centre-back. Again, he's good. He's very good. He's not close to the Bracamontes level, but he's still a Premiership standard centre-back, and that shows by the fact that he played 14 games for us this season. And the other centre-back that we used quite a lot this season, Freddy Serna, 20-year-old Colombian centre-back, also kind of midfielder. I didn't really play him in midfield. He was a centre-back. 52 games for us in all competitions in the end. Didn't score a goal. That's a lie. He scored in the EFL Cup final. £26 million worth of centre-back as well. He's good. He's very good. Given a few more years playing at a Premiership level, he will be world-class. I'm not going to go through every player because there are a hell of a lot, but just some of the main ones. Jefferson Douglas obviously came in for the final season. He's only rated 3-star, but much like Kieran Tierney, the formation gives him free run. So no matter how good or bad he is, he was going to be good. And at 21 years old, he's got 3 caps for Brazil. He's also got a goal for Brazil. I think he was actually a wise decision to replace Kieran Tierney. Matteo Bianchini, I spent a lot of money on him, and given a few more years, he'll be good. Problem is, we're not playing a few more years, so I'd say he's a bit of a missed opportunity. We'll see in the next video if he does actually get any better. Oh, Ali Tape. Ali Tape. You were one of the first players that I signed, and I'm not going to lie, I signed you because of your name. Your name's Ali Tape. But you have become, in this final season, you've played... Well, how many have you played? You've played a lot of games. You've been the right back for most of the season, apart from when you got suspended for your 4 red cards or 3 red cards or whatever it was. 21 years old, Ivorian right back, worth £11.5 million. He's good, but he's not great. Much like Jefferson Douglas, the formation allows him to be better than his stats actually say. But he does have 5-star potential. So he could, in theory, become one of the best right-backs in the world. Also, being Ivorian, Kouadio Kone's Ivorian, we've got a few other Ivorians, the Ivory Coast could become a very, very good team in a few years' time. Ahmet Yücel, a player that we never actually really saw. I think I played him up front for a little bit for one game in the Champions League that we won. Ahmet Yücel was actually on loan at Walsall for the second half of the season. Came through my youth team. He's decent. He's only 17. I like the look of him, but obviously not going to get the chance to see him progress. A player that you never really saw or ever saw, apart from when I signed him, Diego Castro. He was a left-back/left winger. He's only 19 years old. He's Colombian. He's worth £3.5 million. He's not very good, but that's probably because I'm not playing him. Ah, the Barbarian, who has a real name. And that name is Zlezko Barbaric. He's a decent player, much like Ali Tape. He's not that good, but the position allows him to be a lot better than he actually is. He actually played 15 games this season, 19 overall for us, 4 assists as well, which is pretty good. I like the Barbarian, but in reality, he's not a world-class right-back, which a team finishing second in the Premier League and winning the Champions League should be playing. Trojan Horse. Again, not his real name. Played 1 game for us in his entire career. Well, 1 in the Premier League. He played a couple in the League Cup as well. He's alright. He had a lot more potential when I signed him. His real name is Sylvester Trojanowski as well, hence why his name is Trojan Horse, because there's no way I can say Trojanowski over and over again. The final defender that I want to have a look at is Lassine Diarra. When we signed him, he was 5'3". He's 5'4" now, currently on loan at Philadelphia. He's alright. He's not great. He's 21. I don't think he was given the opportunity to really grow. I was only going to show you new gen players. However, I cannot go through a list of some of my best players, or some of the players anyway, without mentioning Filip Krovinovic. 25-year-old Croatian attacker midfielder who has been an absolute star for this entire save. 124 league appearances, 31 goals across 4 seasons. And in that time, he's also got 53 assists. 53 assists. It's insane numbers, absolutely insane numbers for an attacking midfielder. He's still got easily a couple of years left at his peak, maybe more. He's the type of player as well that Southampton shouldn't need to get rid of, because in terms of ability, he's not that great. He just plays superbly every single game he plays. Well, there's a few exceptions. Most games he plays. One of my favourite players, Thomas Doherty, purchased for £1 million from Derry City, who at the time I thought that was a lot of money. However, now, at the age of 20, he's club captain, mainly because I forced it on him, 18 caps for Northern Ireland, 2 goals. Ignore the downwards arrows. He's a decent player. He's still got a lot of room to grow. He's only 2.5 star at the moment. He is considered a wonder kid. 55 games, just the 2 goals, however, but Thomas Doherty, I think, will be a great player for years to come. Umut Dazel. He played 13 games, scored 2 for me this season. He's similar to Thomas Doherty. He's a very good player, but I just didn't give him the chance. I mean, he's considered a wonder kid. So he's a very good player, but I just didn't have space for him, not with players like Rabiot and Lamina as well as Thomas Doherty in there. The younger Greeker Filip Krovinovic, Zach Papustis, which I think is what his name was. I just didn't give him a chance. He got 2 games. Both games that he played in, he wasn't very good. I think, again, 20 years old, he's got 3 caps for Greece, he's got a bit of potential. Given some game time, he'll turn out all right. Facundo Illa, the replacement for Filip Krovinovic whenever he got injured. Again, very, very good. Has a bit of potential, 21 years old now. Probably should have been playing a lot more games than he has been. I like the look of him, but I think the way Krovinovic plays, he's never going to get a look in. Francisco Diniz doesn't look very good on paper, but a lot of his stats there, particularly the main ones, are pretty high. Obviously, composure being an exception there, but everything else, all the important ones for his roles are like 14s and 15s. Francisco Diniz, 4 Angola caps, £5.5 million worth of player. Played 12 games for us this season, or in the last 2 years? No, 1 year. Couple of goals as well, couple of assists. Also, I think he's going to be very good in a few years. Simon Freeman. Who can forget the debut of Simon Freeman, where he came on in the Champions League? He's out on loan at MK Dons. He's got a lot of potential. He's alright. He's just a winger, and I don't play wingers. Fabrice Koulibaly, who we looked at the start, he's more of an advanced playmaker than a central midfielder. However, he's very good technically. Flair, he's a wizard. He's one of those like tricky players. But much like Kawadio Kone and Ali Tape, he's got a lot of potential, and he's Ivorian. So the Ivory Coast, if these players hit their potential, that team is going to be ridiculous. Cesar Quijano, 20-year-old Peruvian, 2 caps, 2-star current ability, 5-star potential ability. Again, another player, very, very good. He needs to get games. I probably couldn't offer him games. So, when I leave, maybe he'll get some games somewhere else. The last one I want to have a look at, again, he's real. Sorry, he's not a new gen. But Frank Dogboll, I know that sometimes in this game, he has a ridiculously high potential. I've played this before, and he's turned into a world beater, an absolute world beater, which is why I bought him. And I don't think I gave him enough chances. He's still only 21. He's got a lot of life left in him. If he leaves Southampton, gets some games somewhere else, I think he'll turn into a very good footballer. The Ivory Coast team is going to be amazing. Please remember that. And finally, let's move on to the strikers, shall we? Vincenzo Bogart came in for a lot of money. But with stats like that, you can see why he was a lot of money. £50 million he's now worth. So if anything, I got him for cheap because I think I only paid 30 for him. 24 goals in 45 games. Obviously Champions League winners medal, EFL Cup winners medal. 22 caps for Belgium, 14 goals, still only 19 years old. He's 4.5 star potential. He's still got that 5th star that he can get. And I think by the time he's like 22, he'll probably hit it. Vincenzo Bogart, without a doubt, along with Bracamontes, one of my best regen players that I've actually bought on this game. Bad boy Grant Corbett. Now, if you haven't watched the whole series, you've kind of picked up halfway through, you'll be wondering, why is he called Bad Boy Grant Corbett? Well, on his debut, he got sent off within about 15 minutes. He's not an aggressive player, he just got a straight red card. So ever since then, he's been Bad Boy Grant Corbett. This season, he has turned into the footballer that I hoped he would become. 18 starts, 14 off the bench, 21 goals. He was actually our top scorer for the league. £33.5 million. He's been called up to the England squad as well. He's one of those players that he's not that great, but mentally there, a lot of his stats are in the 14s, 15s, 16s sort of region. Technically, there's a lot of work to be done, but his finishing and his first touch and his heading are very, very good, which I guess that's probably all you need to be a striker. Scott Whitehead, I believe he came through our youth team, and he was a player that we've sent out on loan a couple of times. Ipswich and Norwich have had him. Brought him back in January of the final season. He's good, but he needs games. He's only 19. He's worth £18.25 million. Scott Whitehead, like I said, good player. By the time he's like 24, he'll be an England regular, I reckon. A player that I'm annoyed I didn't get to use as much as I wanted to, because he's a winger, and I don't play wingers. Thabang Ngwenya, 20-year-old South African right winger who can play up front. Problem is he can't finish, which is why I didn't play him a lot. I like the look of him. He's got a lot of potential, but he just did not fit into my system. Hopefully he goes to some club, gets some games somewhere else, probably playing on the wing, and actually makes his 5-star potential. Thibaut De Bruyne, 19-year-old Belgian who burst onto the scene this year in the opening game of the season, scoring 4 goals. I'm annoyed I didn't actually record any of it because he was just on fire. £9.5 million, nearly said 19, £9.5 million, finishing 16, first touch 16, determination 16. He's got lots of very good stats. Very, very quick as well with 18 acceleration, 16 pace. He's got a lot of potential. Him and Vincenzo Bogart as a strike force for the Belgian national side, because they're both Belgian, is frightening. Just a few more to go through then. Ellis Rasulo spent the final season out on loan at Bolton, had a very good year at Bolton. Looks like they did get relegated, however, from the Championship. I like the look of him, came through our youth team, needs to get opportunities. He's only 18, he's going to get plenty of time to get them. Gerard Touré, another of the Ivorians, can play as a striker, can also play as a central midfielder. Realistically, he's a striker. He is actually a complete forward. He's got a decent amount of potential. He's one of those players I played a few times, never really got the opportunity to showcase what he can do. He's the type of player that I'd want to loan out because I think he's going to get very good given the opportunity. And the final player we'll take a look at then is Bekamina Magubane. In the under-23s and the Checker Trade Trophy, he was ridiculous. 15 goals in the groups for the under-23s, 12 in the Checker Trade Trophy in 6 games. However, the moment I put him in the spotlight, big crowds, big teams, he fluffed his lines. Apart from the one solitary goal that he did score, I like the look of Bekamina. He's very good at finishing, he's great at penalties, although I'm pretty sure he missed one. Not a huge amount of potential now, but I think that's partially down to the fact that we, Southampton, as a team, have become a lot better. Therefore, his 3.5-star potential ability, probably at the start of the game, was more 4.5-star. I think given a few years, he'll be a Premiership standard striker. But until then, he probably will sit in the Southampton under-23s. The final thing then I'm going to do in this video is we'll take a look at the favoured personnel, and I'm a bit annoyed, if I'm honest. The only people that have joined this list since the start of the save, Kieran Tierney, as we know, had a lot of very, very good games in the first couple of years. Mario Mandzukic was a very decent signing for us. Filip Krovinovic, I think unjustly, has only just joined this list because of the Champions League final. For me, Krovinovic should be in the icons list. Myself, I am on the list, despite the fact that I've won the Champions League and the Football League Cup in the same season. I feel like I should be a little bit higher on the list. Manolo Gabbiadini is on there because of some of the earlier seasons where he was scoring 40 goals a season. Craig Bracamontes, once again, like Krovinovic, has only just joined this list, which I think is really quite unfair. And to end, what I'm going to do, I have no idea if this is going to work, I'm going to ask them to build a new stadium. And if they don't do it, I'm going to quit. I would like to build a new stadium to help the club achieve ambitions. No, okay. If you don't grant this request, I'm not certain I can carry on my job. If you feel this way, then it's probably best we part company. You sure you want to? Yep. I tender my resignation immediately. Off I go. And that is me gone from Southampton Football Club. It's kind of a bit of a sad way to leave, but I was kind of hoping that they build a stadium, but apparently they don't want to do that. Quite a lot of coaches have left. Half of them I don't think I signed. Obviously Michael Reisiger I did. There is going to be one more episode of this series, and that is going to be on the 1st of July 2026, and I will go through some of the other players, or some of the players, and see how well they've actually progressed, whether they have become the world-class players that I expect them to be. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Football Manager 2017. Stick around. Tomorrow, probably, will be the FM18 beta video will be coming out with the Napoli save. If you did enjoy this video, click the like. If you want to see more of whatever I do, click subscribe, and I'll see you next time.